this meeting of the Yosemite Community College District Board of Trustees to order for Wednesday, July 13, 2022, up in beautiful Columbia, California. And again, I want to thank everybody behind the scenes, including the Columbia College classified staff for getting this all ready to go and preparing the room, and our audiovisual and IT folks who always do a great job. So, call to order, roll call, please.
I did say I was ready, didn't
Always ask.
I? So, Trustee Aguilar?
Here.
Vice Chair Beggs?
Here.
Trustee Hinton?
Here.
Trustee Nicolau?
Here.
Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Dr. Richard?
I'm here, thank you.
And Trustee Vulcan?
Here.
And Chair Garrett?
Here.
Everyone's
Present and accounted
Present and
for.
accounted for.
Wonderful. 1.3, statements of conflict. I'll ask any of the trustees if, based on the posted agenda, they want to declare a conflict on any agenda item. Looking around the room, going once, going twice. Okay, seeing none, we'll go right along to 1.4, public comments. So, is any member of the public, don't all rush the podium all at once. Sorry, Catherine, you already have enough time allocated. So it's okay. No, any member of the public wish to comment on anything not on the agenda? Obviously, when we get to the agendized item, if members of the public or anyone else wants to make comments, obviously we'll allocate time appropriately for that agendized item. Okay, nothing on 1.4 public comment. We'll move on now to closed session. The board will now hear those items listed as closed session on the posted agenda, and the corresponding government code sections to hear those items in closed session are listed as well. So with that, we'll move into closed session. We'll reconvene at 5:30.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order of the Yosemite Community College District Board of Trustees for July 13, 2022. This meeting is being held at the beautiful Columbia College campus. And again, I want to thank everyone at Columbia College for our welcome and for doing all the work to make this meeting possible. So thank you all very much. And with that, yes.
Would you mind turning on your mic, please? Thank you.
I thought I was loud enough. You want me to repeat myself? Please no. All right, we will now look to Vice Chair Beggs to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice Chair Beggs. We will now move on to 3.3, roll call and establishment of quorum.
Chair Garrett, so student trustee Maria Marcus is unable to make this meeting.
Okay.
Trustee Antonia Aguilar.
Here.
Vice Chair Leslie Beggs.
Here.
Trustee Nancy Hinton.
Here.
Trustee Jenny Nicolau.
Here.
Trustee Milton Richards.
Here.
Trustee Margie Balkan.
Here.
Chair Darren Garrett.
Here.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay. Moving on to item 3.4, report out from closed session. There are no reportable items out of closed session. 3.5, change in order of business. I'll turn this over to Vice Chair Beggs.
I would like to table the discussion of strategic priorities, which I think is 7.4, so that we can align some of our strategic priorities with our goals for the Chancellor, and that's going to happen probably in September, I think.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. We'll move on now to item 3.6, approval of the minutes of the June 8, 2022 Board of Trustees regular meeting. Give my fellow trustees a moment to look at those, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by trustee Vulcan, seconded by trustee Hinton. All those in favor, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll move on now to item 3.7, public comment. Does any member of the public wish to comment on any item not on the agenda? Obviously, when the agendized item comes up and you wish to speak, we'll allow enough time for public comment on each individual agendized item. So are there any member of the public who wants to speak on an item not on the posted agenda? Did we get any requests, Graciela?
We did not.
Okay. So with that, we'll move on now to item 4.1, committee reports, board finance committee. I know this will disappoint everyone, but there was no finance committee meeting to report out. So we'll all be sad and wait for the next one to happen. Okay, 4.2, board policy committee report.
Same thing, we'll be back October 10th unless there's some kind of a called meeting before that. We do have a couple of items later in the session, but tonight, but we have no meeting this month.
Okay, so thank you, trustee Hinton, chair of the board policy committee. We'll move on now to item 5, reports and information items. 5.1, association reports. Student Senate activity reports, Associated Students of Modesto Junior College, ASMJC President Neilani Pitzer, if I got that right.
Press the button to make it green.
Hello? Alright, thank you. So, hello, YCCD Chancellor and board members. My name is Neilani Pitzer, and I am the ASMJC President, so the Student Government President of MJC. It is so great to be here today and meet everyone in person, and I hope everyone is having a good day. So, ASMJC currently has 10 members, and we've been working really hard to recruit members through different presentations that we've done with different programs. So most of our recruits have been through recent graduates of high school. So we have 10 members currently, and we're currently working on recruiting more members. Our training has consisted of team bonding and various MJC department presentations, such as career services, DSPS, TRIO pre-college, and TRIO SSS, just to name a few. And this is important because we learn how to better serve our student body when we learn about these different services, and we learn which resources we can guide them to. So if a student were to ask us for help, we know exactly what to tell them and what kind of help that they might need. And it's just been great to meet different people who work in our community. This Friday, we are going on a hike with the Access and Outreach Department, and that's going to be really great for team bonding and networking with that department. We are going to Mission Peak, and this Saturday, we are volunteering at the Stanislaus Fair to reach into the community and meet different Modesto residents. From August 12th to 15th, we have a retreat in Twain Harte, and we're going to be doing more team building activities and discussing different ways to recruit more students. So this team has been great so far, and we're really excited to be serving our student body and moving forward in this way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Neilani. Any questions for the ASMJC president? Well,
Thank you for your report. Where in Twain Harte are you going for a retreat? Not that I'm going to crash it, but.
I don't know the exact location, but I can ask my advisor and
Oh,
email
you know, I thought it was, yeah. No, it's not that important. I thought maybe it was a more public venue, so that was all. Thank you.
and Neilani, I just want to say, please extend a thank you to the entire ASMJC student body for the July 4th parade participation. I couldn't believe how many were out there between ASMJC and the cheerleading squad, and you guys were ahead of us. You went the whole distance and were handing out and interacting with the public. So thank you very much. It was a great showing, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll pass that on to them.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Wanda, the Associated Students of Columbia College, ASCC president. Is Andrew here?
No, he'll be back in August though.
Okay.
Says Courtney, he'll be back.
Thank you, Courtney.
You're welcome.
Faculty representative of the board, Alan McKissick. There will be no report. Alan sends his regards and will join us the next time. Academic Senate activity reports. I know Aisha is not here this evening, so there will be no report from MJC Academic Senate. Do we have someone, or is Lana Van Epps here? Anyone from Columbia College Academic Senate? Yes. Okay, we'll see them both next time. If someone shows up later, obviously we will give them time to give a report out. Leadership Team Advisory Council, LTAC. Jillian Daly is not here, but report out by Raylene Juarez.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight to Columbia College. For those of you that do not know who I am Raylene Juarez. I am currently the interim vice president of instruction here at Columbia, and I've also have been a leadership team advisory council member for the last 3 years. And it's my pleasure tonight to be giving this report. I'm going to highlight 3 items. So first, LTAC is getting ready to launch its second YCCD Leadership Academy, which will begin this September and continue through next March. The Academy will be targeting a select group of personnel identified as having potential for senior leadership, and it will also provide a supportive opportunity for these leaders to network and grow. The Academy is going to be comprised of 7 sessions. They're going to be held in person each month, lunch provided, shirts given to all the participants and presenters. We started to train the trainers who will be presenting at these sessions. And then final revisions of the save the dates will be sent out to those individuals very soon, as this event will be approaching in September. Second, the district initiated classification review process for leadership team members in cycle 1 is underway. HR has developed and sent out a brief online survey to gather employee feedback about their job descriptions, and we'll be reporting those outcomes to the leadership team the upcoming, probably mid-August, I would say. And then if there's any final recommendations, they will be coming forward to the board for approval. And then the final item that I would like to highlight is actually the Columbia College Leadership Team Retreat that we had yesterday. And it was held off campus and led by President Tran. The theme of the retreat was Together We Can, and it included topics such as budget and the student-centered funding formula, diversity, equity, and inclusion, integrating student services and instruction. We had some icebreakers to have us bond with one another and get to know each other. And then we discussed the first 2 chapters of the book, Becoming a Student-Ready College, and then the plan is to continue reading the chapters and having those discussions in the upcoming year. So thank you, President Tran, for that opportunity, and that concludes my report.
Raylene, thank you so much. Any
Where
questions?
was the retreat held?
Twinning arms.
Thank you, Raylene.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I guess from now on, please email trustee Walter. Future retreats and no less than 48-hour notice. Okay. We will move on. The Yosemite Faculty Association, YFA President Dimitri Kiriotis is not here, but we have Brian Green giving a report.
Good evening, and I didn't realize that Lana and Aisha couldn't be here, otherwise I would have try to help them out as well. I enjoy doing that, so. Good evening, Chancellor Young, Chair Garrett, and trustees. I'm Brian Green, Columbia College librarian and YFA Vice President for Columbia. I'm here on behalf of Dimitri, who is enjoying a well-deserved vacation in Greece, and I understand having a lovely time. So I chatted with him briefly this morning, and he's doing well. It is a pleasure to see you all again, and I'd like to take the opportunity to say how much I appreciate the board updating its meeting schedule to be at Columbia more frequently. You've heard me say this before, but it means a lot to all of us to see you up here on a regular basis. I really appreciate that. As you no doubt know, we have one final negotiation session next week with two important items left to resolve. One is regarding benefits. The other is ensuring that non-instructional faculty have the option to work remotely if deemed appropriate by their administrator to best serve students. I am ever the optimist, and I hope that we can find a solution next week that is satisfactory to both groups. We are fortunate that one-time funds and a strong state budget put the district in a healthy financial position to bolster faculty and staff as we navigate record inflation, adjust to post-COVID return to campus, and do the important work of fully repopulating our colleges. I would like to thank all the members of both negotiations teams for their countless hours that they put in this year. For YFA, this will be Shelley Akiona's last session as lead negotiator, with Jim Solomon taking over again in August. I'm always impressed working with Shelley, and this experience has been no different. I expect that there will also be a number of changes to the composition of the district team, and I want to say how much I've enjoyed getting to know all of the district team members in this new capacity over the last year of negotiations. Thank you. Lastly, I want to recognize the folks in payroll for their tireless efforts. We had a little hiccup this summer with part-time office hour pay, and Asherina and the other folks there have done a great job putting together a plan and putting it in place to get part-time faculty caught up in a timely manner. So thank you, big shout out to them. This concludes my report. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions for Brian, even though he was reading from a script, but we appreciate you being here, Brian, and filling in for Dimitri. Any questions? Okay, thank you again. Toward the end, and importantly, California School Employees Association CSDA President Amy Lovett.
Good evening, Chair Garrett, fellow trustees, and Chancellor Young. Since everyone's talking about retreats, I will mention that Columbia Classified Senate, they did have a retreat last month, and they graciously included me in the invite as well. So it was also Twain Parks. I don't know the full name, but I know it was other golf course.
I live
there. So it was a really great experience. Thank you, Dr. Tran, for being there as well, offering your words of wisdom and your plan for the college. I know that Columbia Classified professionals are really looking forward to it and seeing what the future holds for the college here. So thank you for that. July is an important month for CSEA as it is our annual statewide conference. After 2 years of attending virtually, we will finally be able to be in person again. It will be a welcome reunion as we celebrate our accomplishments and conduct union business. I'm proud to say that YCCD Chapter 420 is able to send 4 delegates to the conference. Negotiations has been going well overall, and we were optimistic that a tentative agreement would be reached in a timely fashion. Typically, by this time, we have a tentative agreement, and we're pushing it forward for chapter ratification. We are not close to reaching a full tentative agreement, and will continue negotiations well into next month. CSEA has been putting in countless time to prepare for negotiations. Members of our team have sacrificed vacation time, so we will be on track, and yet the process has been delayed. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight on behalf of CSEA Chapter 420.
Thank you, Amy. Any questions for the CSEA President? Again, Amy, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on now to item 5.2, presentation updates, Yosemite Community College District Chancellor, Chancellor Henry Young.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This evening, I'd like to call on Dr. Benny Amada, President of MJC, to give us an update on MJC.
Would you go first? I'll just fire up my computer, or is it okay?
Oh.
Cost you $100.
Cost me $100 only.
Okay, great.
thank you, Chancellor Young. Good evening, board trustees. Good evening, community members, our colleagues. It is such a privilege and honor for me to share the great work at Columbia College. First and foremost, we had the best summer since 2014. Our enrollment is up, our FTS is up, so I keep telling my team, whatever you're doing, it's working, everybody, so thank you, because I was so nervous, but I think the reason for that is we're committed. We welcome our students back, we hustle, so that is our best summer. What does that mean for the fall? Right now, we're on par with the fall. Let's say if it's the worst semester, we're still on par with fall 2021. But I don't think that's the case because our team will continue to work hard. We have a lot of outreach activities that we plan. Right now, we look at enrollment as a flexible model where we're gonna move nimbly. For example, right now, the leadership team will know currently with all our classes, we're able to look and say which of those classes have 100% seat that are filled, I mean they're ready to go. Then we break down to 90, 80, and 60%. But the good news is that even the sections and the classes in their team, I'm talking like, it's very few. So our ideal is we add the classes as we see the need, and when we do outreach, now we do general, then we're targeted to programs, so I'm confident that some of that we will be able to grow back enrollment, maybe not as, but if summer is an indication, there's something to go for our team. So I'm happy with enrollment. But in addition to that, great news for Columbia College is that we received the pre-apprenticeship grant from the State Chancellor's Office for the Google IT support. That is $500,000 that we are going to work with our high school feeders. And the great thing about this is introducing the student to the IT support so they can move into our program. In addition to that, we also secure additional funding to serve our incarcerated through the Rising Scholars. Not 100,000, 400,000. So that's going to be really help us to expand our VAX for serving the incarcerated. Those are 2 grants. Those are the numbers, and I think I'll leave it that because Raylene did the leadership retreat. But overall, I do want to publicly acknowledge our leadership team and our just everybody at Columbia really worked together. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, you can't put it off any longer.
All right. Good evening, trustees, Chancellor Young, audience. Good to be back here in this campus. Good to see you all. A few things. First of all, let me begin by saying our 4th of July. MJC was the Grand Marshal in the 4th of July parade at Modesto. And that was my first experience in waving for about 1.5 hours like this. Yeah, I needed an arm massage that evening. But I really appreciated the students' presence out there and their cheerfulness and going out to the audience and connecting with the audience. Since I've been in MJC, we heard that we need to rebuild our connection with the community, and parades such as this, the participations, that definitely would get us to that point. Talking about some of the community connections, we already tied up with Amazon's Career Choice program, as you know. We have given it shape right now. So we have a single point contact office for Amazon employees and Amazon Career Choice program who can come and enroll at MJC. So we put together and operationalized that. We have also partnered with Modesto Subaru to have a program called Subaru U at Modesto itself, so that the students would be getting training on the Subaru cars, and we strengthen our partnership on the auto technology area. Valley CAM, that's the electrical vehicle program partnership, that again is between MJC Automotive and then Valley CAM electrical vehicle program. So we would have that program going, our curriculum for 40 hours introduction, 4 basic unit, 4 advanced unit. Electric vehicles, as we all know, are coming for the future. Frito-Lay PepsiCo program that has been going on for quite some time, and we are going to be celebrating one of the batches coming out in first week of August. So that, again, what we're trying to do there is taking college to the students rather than expecting students to come to the college. So at their place of work, students can come and benefit from the programs that the college offers. Some of the numbers that I'm seeing in terms of enrollment, summer is now put to bed. It has been significantly bigger than the last couple of summers. But more importantly, we are looking at fall at this point of time. 1,668 total sections, about 706 of them, nearly 40% or so, they are on campus, face-to-face only. Now, good part is, last semester, if you remember I was reporting this, our face-to-face fill rate was significantly lower than the online fill rate. This time, at this point of time, we're about 57% full in the face-to-face classes, 72% in the hybrid classes, and 69% in the online classes. So online is still filling at a higher rate than the face-to-face classes, but the gap has come down. Last semester, we were talking about 45% in face-to-face, almost 75% on the online. This time it has come down to something around 57 and 69. So, which is a good sign that students are now coming back to the campus. They're free to come back. At the same time, this also denotes that there are some students who would prefer to attend the classes online for a variety of reasons. And we have to play this very carefully to see which sections do we put online, which sections we bring back to campus, so all students have an equal opportunity of partaking in this activity. As we reopen for fall, I'm looking forward to really reconnecting with the campus community, because as you know that I have been the COVID president in NJC. Since I went down there, it was always been COVID times. And one of the biggest casualty of COVID has been we were not around the table. And there, our ability to belong to the institution and thrive, that has gone down. So that's going to be our focus area now, that when we all come back to the campus, that how do we work with each other, how do we reconnect, we support each other and find the joy of work. So that's going to be our big model. At the same time, when we come back, we also have to figure out that we take responsibility and ownership of the work that we do at the college. It is not just a job, but we make sure that we reach out to the students and make sure they start here, they finish here, and they go wherever they want to go from here. That's what we're looking for. Questions for me?
Thank you. Not long ago, we had a consulting firm meet with both colleges and prepared submissions for special grants. We asked for $2 million for the MJC fire program and $9 million for the Columbia fire program, with the intention of securing funds to build a building and to expand the fire program at Columbia College. We put a lot of hopes in the effort. The consultants work with legislators at the state level and even at the federal level. But these are very, very competitive opportunities. So this cycle, I'm sorry to report that we are not successful. But we will continue to pursue that. So that's the update from the legislative front. Finally, I want to share with you that we had submitted our district's name for drawing at the Association of Community College Trustees for a free board training seminar. So should our district be selected, ACCP will send a presenter out from New York to Modesto to cover the training. You know, our board is very committed to professional development, and it has gone through several series of professional development in the past year. And so we hope to continue that. And we're looking for a possible presentation, hopefully from ACCT. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chancellor Young. If we're successful in getting that retreat, I recommend we hold it in Twain Harte. But that's just
a nicely done.
Okay. As you see, we like to have fun. Moving on now to consent action items. Items 6.2 through 6.8. First, I'll ask if any board member wishes to pull any item from the consent agenda. Okay, seeing none, we do have one correction. I'll turn it over to Graciela for that.
Correct. In relation to item 6.7, consent agenda personnel, on page 1 of 2 of the attachment for the board's page 31, appointment classified promotion. So for the information systems technician position, that one is being pulled from this list.
Okay,
And
so.
we'll likely return to the board at a future meeting.
Okay, so with that correction, is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as listed on the agenda and with the correction so noted? Okay, so a motion made by trustee Nancy Hinton, seconded by Dr. Milton Richards. Any further discussion, comments, questions?
Well, before we go to an action, I'd like to steal your thunder.
Absolutely.
Because you're so good at acknowledging the retirees that are listed on our consent agenda. And I'd like to take an opportunity in reverse order to first recognize Donna Johnson for her 21 years of service at Central Services in Fiscal Services and Purchasing. That's a lot to keep track of all the time. Lots of balls in the air and items to record and inventory. And I mean, I've worked with purchasing personnel and their job is very tedious. So thank you, Donna, for your 21 years. And now I'd like to also recognize my dear friend, Colleen Henry, who will be retiring after 12 years of service as Executive Secretary to the President. This is amended because we acknowledged her before, but this is being amended for September. Colleen, as I said before, worked with me when I was superintendent at Sonora Elementary, and I hired her in her first secretarial position, and look where she's gone. But recently I saw the beautiful thread of compliments paid to Colleen from the staff here at Columbia College, and enough said. All of those comments were absolutely characteristic of an outstanding service she has provided to our community. So congratulations to both Donna and to Colleen Henry.
Thank you, Trustee Bolton, and for the whole board. As always, we wish them well in their new life, retirement. So again, thanks to both of our retirees. And with that, I'll bring it back. We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on now to action item discussion, 7.1 board policy, second reading. And first, I'll recognize Chair of the Policy Committee, Trustee Nancy Hinton.
At this time, I would like to call on Kimberly Gibbs, who's been overseeing with the policy and will give us the update.
Mrs. Kimberly Gibbs. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Good evening, trustees, Chancellor Young. Before you have two policies that are up for second reading and board approval tonight. I am here to entertain any questions that you may have. The board policy committee did not meet because there was no changes from the last meeting that were approved as a first reading. So if you have any questions, I will take those now.
So does any trustee have any questions of either Kimberly Gibbs, Mrs. Gibbs, or Policy Chair Nancy Hinton? Okay.
I just want to acknowledge on page 38 of 52, I think the wisdom of the board's, the policy committee's recommendation at the June 6th meeting to await state and federal mandates as it relates to Cesar Chavez Day, Native American Day, and Juneteenth as local holidays, and the respect with which the committee honored these 3 days, but to align it with the state and federal mandates. I think is well advised. So I want to acknowledge those days and acknowledge the committee's recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Bolton. And with that, is there a motion to approve the second reading?
So approved. Motion approved.
Okay, motion made by Trustee Dr. Milton Richards, seconded by Trustee Leslie Bates. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we'll move on now to 7.2, 5-year construction plan. And I believe we have our Deputy Director, Yolanda Perrow, who's going to walk us through that.
Hi, my name is Yolanda Perrigill, and I'm the Assistant Director for Facilities Planning and Operations, and I've worked with Judy for 16 years. Judy apologizes for not being here tonight, but she had a family emergency that she had to tend to, so I'll make it short and sweet. So I'm here to present to you, good evening, I have a script. Good evening, Board Chair, Trustees, and Chancellor. Thank you for the opportunity to provide the 5-year construction plan for your approval. The 5-year plan documents the facilities needed for academic programs, capital outlay projects, property and land holdings. The plan is due to the State Chancellor's Office by August 1st of this year. And no additional buildings or land were added to the plan this year. A capital outlay music modernization project for Modesto Junior College could receive funding from the state, but more information would on that project would follow up. Judy would follow up with that with you and the board on that. And, unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
So I'll just add, this is a 5-year plan, but we'll have another plan come back to us.
It's the 5-year plan that has to come to the board every year.
Yeah, every year. So it's going to get updated. As you know, the board is at one of our recent meetings added a project for MJC. So that's going to get added, and we got money now from the state budget on deferred maintenance. So we're going to get those items added here in the next few months with Judy and Yolanda's help and staff. So yeah. So any questions for Yolanda?
I was going to ask a question, but
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I actually want to say something.
Yes.
I want to say thank you for the legend, because if not, that would have been a binder full of acronyms that nobody knew what they meant. So thank you very much for making it easier for us to understand. We got a big binder in the mail.
Yes, that's Judy. Judy's very thorough with everything she does, so thank
Tell her
you.
thank you.
But thank you, you did a good job.
Thank you, thank you. All right.
So the recommended action is that the Board of Trustees receives the plan and approves it for submission to the California Community College's Chancellor's Office for Board Policy 3600 Capital Construction. And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Oh,
You got it.
No.
I'll go to Leslie.
Motion
Oh,
made
it's
by,
nothing.
motion made by Trustee Bolton, seconded by Trustee Hinton. Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on now to item 7.3, YCCD Board of Trustees Legal Counsel. The recommended action is the Board of Trustees discuss the proposal requested to have an attorney present at YCCD board meeting and determine next steps. So I know we were given, right? Or we will be given, or we're given a handout.
We have it.
Okay, awesome. It kind of outlines different scenarios, what the cost would be with our current firm, and the cost breakdown for those that don't have it would be $975 additional per month to attend just closed session, or if the attorney were to be present for closed session and the full board meeting would be an additional $1,475 per month. So
Not additional, right?
well, no, it'd be $975 for one, and if we added the full board meeting, it would be $1,475. So it'd be one or the other. So who wants to lead off? I think Dr. Richards originally brought this up, so
Well, this is not what I had asked for.
Okay.
I wanted a complete review of all matters and how we do our legal affairs with the intent of going out for a request for proposal to hire a general counsel that would report to the board and would then make decisions on HR and whatever. This is, I guess, the first step, but, and I trust the chancellor's judgment, but this isn't what I asked for. If we do go forward with this, I would hope the contract would be such that if we do expand, this contract could be canceled. But I don't have a problem with the person that's selected. I don't have a problem with the ideas. I think we should have somebody at our board meetings. I think we should have some people, our people at executive session. But this doesn't go far enough for what I want. I want a full discussion on how we do legal affairs. I don't think we're served well in the current way we do it, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, I've been asking for something to this effect for a long time, but I thought we were going to do things different. I thought we were actually going to ask for bids of law firms that specialize in junior colleges, and we were going to get an option of different ones, but I thought that's what the plan was, but maybe this is the beginning of it, because this is not what I thought we were going to do. I mean, did I read it?
No, this is what I thought. This is the beginning, and depending on the discussion of the trustees, our office can certainly bring back additional firms and proposals for consideration. We got one just to start out to give us a general ballpark figure, but this may not be the firm that we ultimately select. It will be entirely at the pleasure of the board.
Okay. I'm not sure if you guys have looked at it, but number 1 for closed session says virtually. So that's not somebody's.
No, it's either in person or virtually.
It says virtually if related to personnel matters. If we want
It's only
somebody,
qualified for that one thing, yeah. Otherwise, it's.
but if we want somebody there all the time, then we want them public all the time. So I just want to make sure you guys were aware of that.
So,
Well, I think,
It looks like open session is always in person.
yeah.
But this is number 1.
Right.
Well, we had gone out to RFP a few years back, and before Dr. Richards joined us, and before you, Jenny, joined us, we had gone out for general counsel to the board, and that's the firm that the attorney that's being recommended would participate if we choose to bring this back at next month's meeting. I agree. I think this is something we've never done before. It's something that I too have been asking for, to have counsel present. I think it just provides a much more transparent and thoughtful process as far as making sure we stay on the, stay in the legal path and we don't find ourselves in trouble, potentially. So I think we should bring it back, and we have an opportunity to try this. I agree with Dr. Milton Richards' assertion that we should do it on a temporary basis. So decide whether that's going to be 6 months or a year, and see if we're satisfied with the level of service that we're getting. Is that okay with everyone? So what would be the yes?
yes, but I still would like to get competing something that we can see.
Well, we have, when we went through this process before.
Well, I wasn't here, so.
I know. Well, yeah, you were.
Yeah, you were, because I was on the
When I
committee.
started, this firm was already there.
Oh, because you came in as an interim, huh?
Come on, I know where I started.
Okay.
I came in the middle of
BBK,
the term.
there's very few firms state that have the expertise and capacity for community colleges, higher ed, K-12 districts, but really focused on community colleges. BBK is one of those. So they have that experience. So that's why I'm saying, rather than, you know, throw the hypothetical out with the bathwater, let's try this out. And if it works, great. And then we can renew it if we're satisfied with it. If not, we can go down the road of going out for a new RFP for a completely new law firm because we've decided that this one isn't meeting our needs.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
You kind of lost me on that because I'm okay to approve this firm tonight for a temporary fix, but I want at the next board meeting agendize a discussion on changing the way we do legal counsel.
Okay.
I want to entertain discussions about a full RFP. I think there are several firms in the state that would love to talk to us, and I would like to see that discussed both in open and closed session. But I will support this, but not if it means we're not going to have the other discussion. You know, this is not fulfilling the need that I think we have.
Then if that is the end result, the end request, then first of all, this isn't on for action tonight. It would have to be brought back the next meeting. If that's the ultimate end result, then I think we just need to bring it back to the next meeting for RFP. Yes, Trustee Bolton.
I'd like to understand what we believe we're not getting from the system. I mean, not tonight. I mean, I don't let a discussion.
Okay.
But
thank you.
what we all think we're not, because I don't know that I'm on the same page. I mean, because I don't understand where everyone might be. What we don't already get from accessing the attorneys we do, and it's not just one. It's a handful of attorneys for different reasons that may or may not be already efficient. And why this model would be better. I'm still back at square one. Why do we need to change the model? And it's because we probably need a discussion about what we have.
Correct.
So I'm there.
And I think part of it should be in closed session. And is that possible when it comes, because we're going to discuss legal.
Personnel, would be a personnel
Yeah.
issue.
So Graciela, just
Wait, let's make it closed session.
We have, well, there's certain limited items that we can discuss in closed
Correct.
session, so we will check with the attorney to see if that this is the pleasure of the board and
If he was
and
here,
see
he would
what.
tell us right now. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly, see, that's.
For $975.
So if he was
no,
here.
$1475.
Yeah.
It's well worth it. He would have told us if we could do it or not, but he's not here, so,
Or she.
or she.
so bring it back for discussion, either this format, leave it open-ended in RFP. So, that's it.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Chair Garrett, just, I'm sure everyone is well aware that the RFP process does take several months, so.
If they don't know it now, they will when it comes up. And just so you know, remember 7.4 has been previously pulled. We'll move on now to 7.5, personnel approval employment contract for Vice Chancellor District Administrative Services. Recommended action is that the Board of Trustees approves the employment contract for the Vice Chancellor District Administrative Services. And before we send it out for a motion or whatever the desire of the board is. Item 7.5 is approval of the employment contract for Vice Chancellor District Administrative Services pursuant to Government Code 53262. Before the board can take action on an item regarding the salary or fringe benefits of an executive officer, which include Vice Chancellor, the key terms of the proposed agreement must be read into the minutes. The key terms of this agreement are as follows. Number one, the term continues to be from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2023. Employees' annual salary shall be on the executive salary schedule range E4, step E, in the amount of $237,484. for the performance of multi-portfolio functions. 3, a longevity bonus of $5,000 for each year of employment, so long as administrator remains employed for a period of 24 months, up to $10,000. A $20,000 housing incentive benefit contingent on 24 months of service. Other fringe benefits include health, dental, and vision insurance, income protection insurance, and a $50,000 life insurance policy. Now that I'm out of breath,
I'd like to move this action, but I want to make sure that this is an 11.5-month contract left on this term. That's backwards. There's 11.5 months left on the terms of this contract. I'd like to make sure we bring it back in October for consideration of when that expires, so that we aren't looking at these, 2 months before they expire, and this individual's in this position, wondering if they're going to be extended. So I move the item.
Second it.
Yeah.
with that additional language, so Graciela will make note of that to bring it back at the appropriate time.
And can I just ask a question? So this is for, that caveat at the end is not just for this contract, but for all?
Yes.
9 months
executive
ahead of its
Yeah.
expiration.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, so we've had a motion by trustee Bolton, seconded by trustee Hinton. Any further discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Motion carried, I should say. 7.6, Governing Board Election Area 4. The recommended action is the Board of Trustees approves the additional language required by Merced County Register of Voters in order to proceed with governing board member election for trustee Area 4 as noted on the July 13th, 2022 agenda. And it breaks it down, the tie-breaking method of deciding the winner to be by random drawing. 2, Merced County Elections will conduct and canvass the returns. And 3, Merced County should be reimbursed for the actual cost of the election. Any discussion? Okay, is there a motion to approve the recommended action? So moved by trustee Dr. Milton Richards. Is there a second? Second by trustee Antonio Aguilar. Any further discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, moving on to 7.7, Governing Board Elections Areas 1 and 4. That the Board of Trustees approves the additional language required by the San Joaquin County Register of Voters in order to proceed with the Governing Board member election for Trustee Area 1 and Trustee Area 4 as noted on the July 13, 2022 agenda. And it's the same 3 items that I read before, but just insert San Joaquin County. So is there a motion to approve this item? So moved by trustee Dr. Milton Richards. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Leslie Beggs this time. All right, we got participation. Any further discussion? Seeing or hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And we'll move on to 7.8, YCCD Resolution 22-23.01, King Board of Trustees Authority to hold virtual meetings pursuant to AB 361. This is routine and customary, so.
Motion to approve.
Motion by trustee Dr. Milton Richards, and seconded by trustee Leslie Beggs.
Nope, Nancy.
Oh, sorry, Nancy. Sorry, Nancy. Pardon.
Your peripheral vision.
Yeah.
Now you know why I had to drive.
Whatever.
That's
Let's
why
move
you had
on.
to drive.
So, okay, so Dr. Richards, trustee Hinton, any further discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call vote on this one, please.
Just give me one moment, thank you. Trustee Aguilar?
Aye.
Trustee Beggs?
Aye.
Trustee Vulcan?
No.
Trustee Hinton?
Aye.
Trustee Richards?
Yes.
Trustee Nicolau?
Yes.
Chair Garrett?
No.
The vote is 5 in favor, 2 opposed, motion carries.
We'll move on now to item 8.1, request for future board agenda items.
Yes, I'd like to see, since we have such good fortune, I would like to see agenda as a discussion of the construction of a campus fitness and recreation center for the students and faculty at Modesto Junior College.
Okay? Anyone else?
I'd like to bring back the motion I made a few months ago that we oversee some of the areas that are difficult for some people with disabilities.
Okay.
May meet the ADA guidelines, but we do want to, I mean, we are here to serve our students and faculty, and I'd like them to, to be able to address, I know Judy's not here tonight, so.
So just, I think the request is have Judy come back and maybe give a little more detailed on our last ADA compliance visit, and just kind of bring us up to speed on MJC East and West and up here at Columbia. Well, good.
Fernanda?
Okay.
Chair Garrett, I know that Trustee Hinton mentioned that there's a few areas, maybe if we know about those areas, we can have her focus on those spaces that are of concern.
Well, people that are in wheelchairs have difficulty maneuvering the doors. And you go to a lot of places, they have doors that'll open up, if you push a handicap button.
I think ASCIP does an evaluation of such a thing, and maybe ASCIP can do this for us.
We have that evaluation, and I think that Judy sent that out through an email through the Chancellor, a review of those areas. Is that correct, Chancellor Young? Just within the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, sometime back.
Okay, so were there still questions based on that?
I haven't seen any.
Okay, there should have been an email following up at that. Okay, so we'll get that sent out
We'll still
again.
put that on, but we'll get the information and Trustee Hinton communicate back and forth. If it's not sufficient, then just proceed with the requested agenda item. Right? Okay. Anyone else? All right. Comments from Board of Trustees. Trustee Nicolau.
I had a chance to take a walk at break, and just again, thank you for having us up here at Columbia. Beautiful campus. It's so nice to meet new faculty each time, and thank you all for your reports, or just being here, like being a warm body and smiling or shaking your head. I appreciate you all.
Trustee Richards. I'm sorry, Dr. Milton.
That's right. I want to welcome our other Trevor and say that you're living proof that people want to come back to the Valley, and we're glad you're here. You gave up the presidency, superintendent, to be here, so we're very excited about that and wish you all the best. I also want to praise Dr. Tran for the immediate impact she's had on recruitment and all the positive things she's done from science to whatever, and keep up the good work.
Trustee Balkan.
Last time I sat here, I raved about the wonderful graduation and talked about a personal anecdote. And I want to do another one that just happened to point out the amazing customer service that Columbia College is characteristically known for. I have a sort of a step-niece who graduated from Sonora High School this year, and I've been mentoring her since she was in first grade. When I met her at, as I translated for her at a parent-teacher conference for her mother, and I became her adopted aunt. And I made a phone call to the counseling office, and Jerry answered the phone. She's right there. And I didn't know you'd be here tonight, so it's so lovely to see your face. And she answered the phone, and she didn't know who I was, and that didn't matter. She was unbelievably accommodating because I had suggested a date further out, and she said, no, come in sooner so that we could get her scheduled. So I was so grateful to you for initiating what turned out to be the most amazing turn of events because of what you encouraged the person on the phone to do. And then when I got here with Jennifer, we met with the amazing Rosa Hernandez. We met with her for an hour. She walked us through starfish, and Melissa, I can remember you talking about starfish years ago, and I get it now. It's amazing, and I know that word is overused, but it is such a great connection to pathways, and a person's journey. So Rosa Hernandez, someone will tell her that I sang her praises tonight. Then we wandered through the hall because Jennifer's eligible for some special programs. And this, without introduction, Tisha came up to us and said, "Can I help you?" And we were looking for the Miak trio, and she quickly again, she didn't know who I was. She escorted us over to a computer where we waited for Tiffany Flees, and Tiffany was here earlier. But Tiffany Flees, who I've known for a long time, sat with us and enrolled her, pushed the button to actually enroll her, transferring her classes from the registry on Starfish over to the enrollment. And there was a little glitch because she hadn't cleared her chemistry class at high school. And then she said, "I'm here until 5:30 tomorrow. If you go to Sonora High School, get your transcript, we will clear it tomorrow." I mean, in other words, every barrier was reduced. Every question mark was reduced. Then Tiffany Fleece sat with us, enrolled her in Miak trio, and as we walked out, Michael Igo was standing in the hallway. And I introduced him to Jennifer, and he says immediately, "Are you interested in student worker hours? I have 10. Are you interested?" And I mean, Jennifer was in awe as if she were the only student here, is the way, I mean, I know everyone gets treated that way. And finally, I want to recognize Misty. Misty was wandering through here, every time I'm here, every time I walk in, she says, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And you know, her job is to make sure this is all clean, make sure everything's organized. And she was there that day watching Jennifer, as if she too were so proud of this young woman starting her journey. And I know that doesn't go it doesn't go unnoticed. That's from the leadership of Raylene Juarez, Melissa Raby, and Dr. Tran, who are steering this attitude of incredible customer service. And I was reduced to tears. It was so moving to watch this young woman cross a bridge. And thank you for making that possible. Well done.
Thank you, Trustee Vulcan. Trustee Antonio Aguilar.
Speechless. Trevor, welcome to the team. Glad you're here, and congratulations. Good job. Sit.
Trustee Hinton.
Just want to welcome Trevor to YCCD and hope we have many years in the future. It's good to see faces out in the audience. And for those that came from the Despo, thank you for driving up. And I did get a chance last Saturday to attend the Stanislaus County Fair. And I went by our MJC booth, and there was a couple of people there, and it was just nice to introduce myself, thank them for being there. The booth looked really good. Unfortunately, Stan State wasn't next door this year. We're not sure what happened to them. But the guy, said, well, we can just introduce them to us, and, I guess they don't want them. So it was nice, and it was well put together, and the people in attending the fair, because it was very close to 100 degrees on Saturday, enjoyed the fans. So the regular, fans, so that's what I'd like to say.
Thank you, Nancy. Vice Chair Beggs.
Well, I had the pleasure with Darren and Antonio of being on the float. First time ever on a parade float. It looked great, thanks to the people who built the ship. It sailed fine. And I have to give a shout out to Petey our mascots, because, we go through the whole thing, we're waving. I didn't need physical therapy, Shantanu, but maybe I wasn't waving enough. But anyway, he took off the headpiece at one point. Oh, sweat, dripping. I mean, I just thought, what a sacrifice. And it wasn't that hot, so I don't know how they do it when it's 100 degrees.
Air conditioning is.
Well, it wasn't working in his so anyway, it was great. I mean, you could tell people really enjoyed it, and they were, you know, my granddaughter ran up to me with her eye patch on and tried to scare me, and so they really connected with the people that were lined up on the street. So it was a great moment.
We were having a lot of fun until we ran out of cannonballs. So the cannon ran out of firepower, but other than that, it was really good.
You know, if I may say something. One of the painters is here. The ship was painted by our folks. Sabrina just masterminded the whole thing, gathered everyone. And I know that one panel of the ship I could see distinctly was not really painted very well. The brush strokes were kind of erratic. And when I inquired closely.
Mine were the good ones.
Did I say anybody's name?
Well, thank you for doing it. It's not in your job description.
It wasn't in anybody's job description, but you should have seen the crew of people there all helping out. It was great.
It was great for me too. First time in the parade. I hadn't been to the July 4th parade for years, so it was really nice. And just I can't help but bring it up again. This is something that Trustee Andy Martini talked about for years, because they have a presence, MJC, in the community with a float. And I'm glad to finally see it happen. So for everyone that participated, and Sabrina, she did a fabulous job of meeting everyone. Had everything lined up. She did an awesome job. And Graciela, do you have my PowerPoint you can bring up? No, I'm just kidding. I gave the bulk of my time to Archie Balkan. So real quick, I do want to thank everyone again up here at Columbia College, but I want to do a shout out to our VP of Administrative Services at MJC, Shara Schrader. She's here tonight. I want to recognize our VP of Student Services at MJC, Andrea Wilson. And I do want to recognize our VP of Instruction, Brian Sanders. They didn't have to be here tonight. They're here to support the entire cause. And I just want to thank you folks for being here, and you, Yolanda, you as well, and everybody else. Thank you so much. And with that, the next regular meeting of the Board of Trustees will be on August 10th, 2022. Closed session at 3, open session at 5:30 at the Central Services on Blue Gum. And with that, thank you all very much. Have a safe drive home.
6:30?